just going to literally take you on a whistle-stop tour of what to put in your plan, because for me, it's really important that people are clear, because planning actually gives you the best possible outcomes. And sometimes, even though we want the best possible outcomes, we're not always doing what we need to be doing to ensure we get the results. So I'm just going to take you through a few points that I've written down. And if you want to make notes or you want to ask questions, you can do. And of course, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is V Roberts of Untitled Marketing. I'm a branding and marketing practitioner. I've been doing branding and marketing now for over 27 years. The first 16 years of that was actually as an employee, where I was paid as an employee of organizations to do their marketing, to build their brands, to do their campaigns, to make sure that they had strategies that were working, that were helping them to be more visible, and also giving them results in terms of their desired outcome. So depending on what you want to achieve, it may be that you don't have financial goals, and that's absolutely fine. It's really important to make sure that you have thought about where you're trying to go before the end of the year and what your main goals and objectives are. So I'm just going to take you through some really quick pointers, and then I'm going to post this video on YouTube should anyone want to watch, and also via my other platforms. So if you are watching for the first time, you can let me know if you watch the replay. You can also let me know. But what's important to me is that whether you are new to marketing or if you've already started marketing, you have given some thought to what needs to go into your plan. Okay, so this is really, really important. So the first kind of thing I want to share with you is that when I worked as an employee, one of the key fundamentals that they would always do is make sure that I had a budget, whether I was heading up a team or whether I was working on my own as kind of like a marketing lead. It was really important that I had a budget. So they would always give me a budget, and sometimes I'd have to increase that budget, and sometimes there would be an underspend. But the whole point of setting a budget when you're planning is to really understand what you can do in terms of marketing. And I'm not just talking about your tactics. I'm talking about anything that relates to marketing, investing in equipment, needing staff to distribute leaflets, all of that good stuff. It comes under marketing. All right. So I'm going to share with you my journey as to what I do, the things that I considered both as an employee and also as a small business owner. And some of you will be aware that I do work with companies still. I also train for companies in terms of branding and marketing. And I also help business owners like yourself, CICs, small businesses, private sector, etc., charities, to actually navigate the marketing space. And that's everything from building your brand from scratch to developing an existing brand you might have, to actually launching that brand and building a campaign around it. So good morning to you if you've just come in. As I said, my name is V Roberts. I'm just going to quickly put in a pre-typed text here so that I don't go off. And you can let me know where you are in the planning journey, if you're already planning, and how that's working for you. And also, if you are doing marketing and it's not working, that's absolutely fine. Maybe that's why you're here. So as I said, setting a budget is really key, or being given a budget is really key. If you work for someone else and you're being asked to do their marketing, make sure that you are clear and mindful of how much money they've got, because the budget is really important. Whether you've got £50, £0, £5,000, it's really important to ascertain how much money you have got for your marketing so that you can actually deliver some kind of result. And sometimes we work on zero budget, and that is absolutely fine. Okay. So you want to make sure you're clear on your budget. If you've been given a budget to execute your marketing, or you're running your own business, you need to have a budget. And the budget looks like money usually. Okay. But sometimes it could be that you don't have a budget, but you've got lots of time. And either way, having a plan will make sure that you actually are clear on how you're going to use your resources. So time, money, and people are really essential resources that you need to kind of manage effectively for your marketing to work. So let me know with a 1 in the comments if you're ready to get with the tips, and I will make sure that I share some tips for you, and then I will also repost these as well so you can pick them up bit by bit. So as I said, the goals are key and your budget is key. You have to have measurable goals, and those should actually be really quickly identified so that you're clear on what your budget's being spent on and what your budget is going to help you to achieve. So for example, for me, I'm currently working on my brand and marketing planner, which many of you will know will be in its 8th edition. And that will require a budget. It's going to require a budget for design. It's going to require a budget to actually get it distributed. It's going to require a budget to actually coordinate all of the postage. And it's also going to require a budget for me in terms of the time that I'm going to spend doing it. So just in that example, thinking about your budget and thinking about your goals, make sure the two are aligned. Now, in order for me to hit my goals in terms of my planner, and many of you may not be aware that I have a planner, a book that I've written, self-published, and it's been going out now for years. People buy it to get help with planning, ideas, campaigns, and also inspiration as well for themes and things like that they want to do in their marketing. For me to get that executed, I've got to be clear on the budget I need, but also what I'm trying to achieve. And so I've got a fixed amount of sales that I want to get on pre-order. And then I've got a fixed amount of sales that I want to get in terms of an actual number throughout 2025. So therefore, my budget has to help me achieve that, okay, in terms of the marketing, in terms of any advertising that I do, etc. So make sure that your goals and the budget you've set is realistic, okay? Secondly, make sure that you've got an offer. So if you haven't yet thought about an offer, whether it's a pre-order like what I've just said, whether it's that you want to actually get people to book onto a course or an event, whether you're trying to promote workshops or whether you want to sell more units of a product or service, perhaps your skincare brand or your classes that you're doing, make sure you've got a compelling offer. And if you've previously done offers, you may actually have offers that you know will work. So I would definitely say, particularly if you've never planned before, think about using something that is more than likely to help you get sales quickly, okay? Get quality clients, attract quality leads, and actually make those sales, get those conversions in, all right? So for my planner, I already have a really good deal. I already have a deal that I know will work. I already have clients in terms of previous clients and also existing clients and also even people that have inquired about my planner, as an example, that I can create an offer for. And I actually have offers that I run throughout the year at different times of the year. And so my marketing plan will actually dictate that. For 2025, my marketing plan will make sure that I have thought about timings, the audience, the compelling offer that they need to see, and obviously the pricing as well. So make sure once you've set your goals, once you've thought about your budget, you've also thought about your audience and also the offer, okay? Now, I want to talk a little bit very briefly about your audience. If you are not clear on who you're marketing to, it's really important that you've given some thought to your audience, okay? It's really important that you've thought about what their needs might be, what would actually motivate them to buy, but also what they're going through at this time that would encourage them to contact you and connect with you. And sometimes, you know, when it comes to messaging, you need to be thinking about what you're sharing in terms of your content. What's going to motivate them to take action? What is actually going to help them to make an understanding or make an informed decision around your brand, okay? Because you'll be aware that many people are following and connected to lots of other brands in their business that they might be looking at that are just like yours, potentially identical to yours. And so you need to qualify for them in their mind why they should come to you, right? Why would they want to come to your brand over anyone else's? And so part of that in terms of your messaging is actually going to be around your brand story, the benefits of your brand as an example, how people can use your product or service, but it may even include really specific messaging that speak to that audience. So it's very important that when you're planning a campaign, you have a column or you've at least considered your messaging and your audience. Let me know if that makes sense with a thumbs up or some kind of emoji in the chat so I'm clear that what I'm saying is being broken down for you properly. So you want your goals and your offer. You want to be clear on what it is you're going to be doing in terms of your budget management and your time management. You also want to be thinking about your messaging as well. This all needs to be considered when you are planning your marketing. The other thing you want to be thinking about is your tactics. Now, many of you are stuck on using Instagram, and that's fine. Many of you are stuck on using TikTok, and that's fine. But really, when you're doing your marketing planning, you want to be clear on the tactics you're using and really why you're using those. So there should be some kind of proven outcome that you're seeing from using those tactics. And if there isn't, then that should be one of the desired outcomes: to get results, to see conversions, to actually increase followers, to increase engagement. You need to have what I would call key performance metrics. Okay. So they will help you to work out whether or not the marketing that you are doing is working. Okay. So key performance metrics, or some people call them KPIs, will actually help you to measure quantifiable results that look like an increase in followers, that look like an increase in sales, that look like more people registering for, you know, your masterclass, that look like more tickets being sold, that look like more units being ordered, you know, and that is what you call key performance indicators. So when you're planning your marketing, make sure you've thought about what it is you're measuring in terms of the desired outcomes. And I would hope that some of those are financial. If you want to grow in your business, you need to actually have financial goals. So as an example, and good morning to those of you that are just coming in, do let me know where you're watching from. As an example, I want to share with you that it's not enough to just say, I want to make more sales, or I'm going to focus on selling, more of my suits. You need to quantify that. So how many suits do you want to sell? By when? And in terms of your suits, if you've got a price range already for your suits, if each suit is £100 and you want to sell 10 suits by the end of December, then actually making that quantifiable is saying that by the end of December, I'd like to make 10 suits and generate at least £1,000 of income. Okay. If each suit's £100 as an example. So think about how you're going to put all of your goals into quantifiable metrics that then help you to measure the impact. And that's a really important thing as well that I'm going to touch on as I wrap up. Make sure you're thinking about evaluating your marketing, because if you've got a campaign that you have a start and end date for, that let's say starts now and ends in the next 8 weeks, you need to make sure that across the 8 weeks, you are monitoring how many of your goals are being hit or how effectively your goals are actually performing in terms of your outcomes that you want to see. So if you have an 8-week campaign to sell those 10 suits and generate £1,000, and by week 6, you've only sold 1 suit for £100, you know that if you're really serious about your marketing, you're going to need to ramp your marketing up or develop it or tweak it, or maybe even extend your campaign to help you reach that £1,000 money goal that you set yourself. Okay. And sometimes you might pause it and just recalibrate the whole campaign because maybe you've decided that what you were doing wasn't working or your offer wasn't strong enough. And that is absolutely fine as well. So make sure you've given some thought to how you're going to monitor your campaign and the timings of your campaign. And just to wrap up, I want to say that marketing should not be overwhelming. So we've spoken about setting goals. We've spoken about having an offer. We've spoken about having an audience. We've spoken about what you're going to share with your audience and what you're going to say to them in terms of communicating the benefits. We've also quickly touched on tactics as well, what you would actually implement and execute and how you're going to monitor those tactics. But I want to say that in terms of your time management, to reduce overwhelm, what you want to do is make sure that you have thought through how much time you've actually got. Because many of you become overwhelmed and really stressed from doing marketing because you are trying to do all the things. You've not outsourced anything. You've not put time in your diary to execute the ideas. You've not looked at how you're going to monitor what you're doing. So everything's being done, but nothing's actually being tracked. And therefore you feel overwhelmed because you can't even see what the outcomes are that you're delivering because you haven't managed your time. So I just want to wrap up by saying, think about how you are going to use things like automation and systems and processing as part of your planning process. Okay. So I've been doing planning for campaigns for corporates, for public sector, for small charities, for businesses, more so in the last few years. And one of the things that I know is critical, or two things, is budget management and time management. So I'm just going to wrap up by saying that whenever you're watching this, make sure you have thought about your budget and your time management. I have literally given you a whistle-stop tour of some of the things that you might want to consider when planning. But it's really important that you've nailed down how much time you've got and how much budget you've got to ensure that you can actually see some kind of results. Even if it's not the results you want, you can see the results and then tweak what you're doing to actually improve on your methods that you're using, but ultimately your outcomes. So if you've got any questions on that, you can let me know. As I said, I'm going to share this over on my YouTube, so make sure you subscribe there. And I will share little nuggets throughout the next few weeks. But there are less than 19 weeks left now before 2025. For some of you, that might be, nothing, might not mean much. Some of you, it might mean, you need to really get your butt into gear. But for some of you, you may feel like, okay, I'm doing a lot at the moment, and maybe you need to reflect on what you're doing to improve your results. So I just want to say, if that's you, if you are in the latter of those 3 categories and you are looking to improve your results, something that you might want to do is actually look at my 5-day program, which is just £47, and it will really help you to understand what it is you are doing that might need to be tweaked, what it is you're doing that's working really well, and also areas for improvement, like key areas around the themes that I've just spoken about. You need to be looking at your branding. You need to be looking at your audience. You need to be thinking about the messaging. You also need to look at the back end, your tactics, and also your processes and your systems, and also how you're implementing what you're doing and the performance. Those are like some key areas that you need to be considering when you're doing marketing. So if you've not done that for the whole of 2024, or if you're thinking of how to do that, you can message me and I'll send you the link to my 5-day program. It's done online in your own time, and you can also ask me questions throughout the time that you're doing that. And I would strongly recommend, if you're struggling with branding and marketing, you look at that course as a way to actually kind of elevate what you're doing and fast track yourself before 2025, so you can actually start the year strong. But also for those of you that are going to be doing campaigns before the end of the year, you get more clarity on how best to do that. All right. I'll speak to you soon. Have a great week. Bye for now.